my mum and dad, you know, we had a farm and everything just outside Ashburton and worked at the freezing works, and mum's a school teacher at St Joe's Primary School where I went to school. I went to Ashburton College as well. They're pretty, you know, normal Ashburton people, and they sort of had this idea of putting their son through music, you know, and I really grabbed hold of it. And the reason why I got sent to do music at the start, you know, when I was a little kid, terrible asthma down when we'd go and visit my grandparents in Dunedin. My father and I would both be, you know, admitted to Otago Hospital with asthma attacks often. So to develop breathing, they sent me to first learn brass instruments. So I learned the tuba for years. I played it for like 12 years. And with that, I also started playing the piano, studying piano. And now that's where a lot of my singing's come from, you know. And my dad worked at the freezing works for like nearly 30 years. And so he got me a job out there. I worked there for 4 or 5, 6 years out at the Fiat and freezing works on the chain, you know, and I'd sing opera out there with all the guys on the chain. I'd work in, you know, whatever. I'd be working sweetbreads for, or whatever. It just, that was a great time there. And, well, it wasn't a great time, to tell the truth, but I loved it. And those guys now sometimes come to my concerts with their families. I love that now, you know, and would be on the chain making jokes or whatever. And, you know, that put me through university in New Zealand. When I was a little kid and everything, like my wife, she's a big reader. She's, you know, a lawyer and everything. She like reads. And even as a little kid, I'd never read. Like honestly have read, and this sounds so terrible, I've read 2 books in my life. One was Animal Farm. The other was Fantastic Mr. Fox. When I was a young kid, everyone else would read, I'd go and get music. I'd just read my music. Or else I'd sit at the piano for hours and sight read the music, which is a sort of a, it's a technique when you have the music you've never seen before. Now, this sounds so terrible, but I'm sure people start to find this whenever they start to know what they're doing. The Matrix is not such a funny movie. I don't see notes anymore on the score. This sounds terrible how it's coming out, but I don't. I do see The Matrix. Often, when I play and sing, you see past the notes, and you make, ultimately, when you play so much, you make a calculated guess at what is going to happen with the music. And most of the time, my fingers are making a calculated guess what is happening in the score with all those notes, and I'm singing and stuff. Because you can't always concentrate on singing and getting the German right, and concentrate always on the piano. Big ball bag stuff. You know, as we saw, you know, the Met's a big place. It's sort of, you know, 4,000 seats, so, and, you know, when you've got the 100 people in the orchestra, so in a small room, you know, my voice often is painful. And that's why my wife, like, outlaws all singing in cars, all singing at house when she's in the house and everything. And good on her, because I'm sure my hearing's going because of it. It's crazy. No, I don't want my voice to, you know, fall out again like it, you know, it did in the 90s, in the sort of mid to late 90s in the South Island. I was doing an opera, and I ruptured my vocal cords, and, you know, blood in the mouth, and couldn't sing for weeks and even months. No, I couldn't sing. It really screwed me up a bit. I thought, do I really want to do this when I've spent all of my life? This is what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a professional musician. In South Island, they went to the opera and they all had to go home. And they're probably pissed off they had to go home because some little guy, me, voice falls out on stage. Just, I screwed it up. You know, and it's a terrible thing to be in front of, you know, 1,500, 2,000 people or whatever, crying, singing an opera down the octave, which means low, tasting blood in your mouth. That's not a good thing for a 26-year-old. So, and that whole thing, they needed to have an understudy. And they didn't have one. So I was forced to go on sick. Those people should be ashamed of that. And I won't forgive them for it. And, no, I will forgive them for it, golly. Life's too short. Life's too short. That I just hope that never happens to any young kid again. And if I ever see that happening in an audience or hear about it, if I'm in New Zealand, don't care where it is, I'll go backstage, however big or small my career is, and I'll look after that young kid who, you know, is just not well to be on stage. You know, a whole lot of reasons. I wasn't well. Yeah, just terrible. Wankers. I thought, you know what, I probably can't sing as well as I want to yet, technically. And I said, right, I'm going to go and learn to sing. So I said, I'll go to New York. I sent a video up to New York, to the Manhattan School of Music. It was myself and Kiri Takano was singing a trio with Richard Greger at the Auckland Opera Park in front of 300,000 people. There, and then, of course, the school just died when they see this. One of their students sending up a video with Kiri Takano in it as my audition record, and they said, come up. You know, to study music over in New York City here, it costs a lot of money, and a lot of money. You know, anywhere from 80,000 to 100,000 New Zealand dollars a year. And fortunately, I was at a sort of level that, you know, I was able to get a 90% scholarship to go to Manhattan School, to my master's, and then at Juilliard they gave me a full scholarship, and they paid me actually to go, which was great. And, you know, still my mum and dad got a mortgage, I think they got, and to put their boy through, you know, following his dream in New York City. I used to watch Fame when I was a little kid in Ashburton. I Want to Live Forever, Baby I Know How to Fly. Is it? I'm sure it was. The Juilliard School is there. You walk down the hallway and you'll have, like, you know, dancers walking past, you know, and incredible physiques and stuff like that, or, you know, get little ballerinas walking past in their tutus, and these are pretty much the finest young people in their field, you know, in America definitely. One of the best schools in the world. The faculty is just extraordinary. So, you know, it's America. It's New York City. You know, this is where pressure, this is where hard to get into things hang out, you know. This is the top of what I regard, the top of the top, and I just can't believe I've made it this far so far. I mean, it's just been incredible. You know, when the stop sign comes saying, you know, Simon, this is your level, this hasn't come yet. It's amazing.